Greetings, beloved. Welcome back to another episode of Follow Peace. My name is David McDonald. I am your host for this devotional series, Pursuing Your Spouse in Marriage. Now, this is day 2 of 3. And overall, it's been short, it's been sweet, but very, very impactful, very, very important information, that the gospel shares with regard, and that this devotional shares with regard to support and marriage. So here we go. Let's jump right into this. So speak their language, day 2 of 3, pursuing your spouse in marriage. In today's verses, we see the phrases, let us continue and let us consider. In each instance, this is active language exhorting to engage in considerate and faithful acts of obedience. If we put thoughtful and careful intention behind our action and keep on being faithful in loving one another as God has loved us, our marriage will continue growing in unity. As we love each other, well, we reflect God's love and bring him glory. What speaks to your spouse? Question mark. What lets them know you want to know them better and understand them more? Their answers might not be what first comes to mind for you or what you choose if you were asked. In fact, it seems to prove that most couples would answer completely different. So don't assume, ask, and listen. Wisdom in our marriage relationship is no different than wisdom in all of life. It takes effort and energy. It requires searching and seeking, but it's by far worth the investment. Actively seek wisdom in knowing your spouse. Ask them to write down several things you could do that would make them feel like $1,000,000. Then, and this is the kicker, follow through. Think of ways to love them well and be very intentional. And at the same time, if you'd really like to feel more pursued, be honest with your spouse. Don't make them play guessing games about what speaks your language. Let them know a few simple things that really speak to you, not out of an expectation that they will check all of the boxes. That is not realistic or fair to expect. But as a way to facilitate more wins for your marriage together. If you tried before and gotten crickets or didn't get the type of response you expected, don't give up. Christ loved us first before we loved him. Don't give up. Instead, let us continue to love one another, going deeper. So we're going to jump into the scripture. Hebrews 10. And let us consider thoughtfully how we may encourage one another to love and to do good deeds. And then lastly, 1 John 4. Beloved, let us, unselfishly, love and seek the best for one another. For love is from God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God through personal experience. All right. And nice and easy. Nice and easy does it. Powerful, quick, sweet, easy. Ask the question, listen. And I feel like it seems so simple, but sometimes when okay, so I guess first I would just say, relationships, our relationships are different, right? So the only stance that I can speak from is from the one that obviously my wife and I have. And so sometimes if I have my heart set on something, I'm a little timid to go and actually ask her a question about what it is I would like to do. And one reason why that's the case is because um I I foresee exactly what she's gonna say. um and then the second reason is I'm not gonna be able to handle it. So right, what she says. And so there's nothing wrong with this, right? But at the end of the day, sometimes when we ask our spouses for their true opinions, we may shy away from doing it because we might be afraid of the answer. But don't be shy, right? Go and have that conversation. And it could actually be like a really good talking point for improving your relationship with your spouse, right? Because they might tell you something where you're like, well, I always thought it was this way. And they're like, well, actually, matter of fact, it's this way. I'm going along with this because I support you, right? And that could go for either side. And so the encouragement here is to, ask your spouse, like, what is something that you would like to do? And what's funny is, I was listening to this tape the other day, um, and it was saying that, like, um, it was a book about, pretty much like how to be a man, like a scriptural man. And long story short, it says, like, understand that women are emotional, right? And oftentimes have a higher emotional intelligence than men do. And so we are very logical, as beings created. Men are. And so when we're approaching our wives, we should approach them with um, a less logical approach, right? And what does that look like? So for me, it's like, okay, well, we have a goal or objective, do steps A, B, and C, right? And so, but for my wife, for example, it might be like, okay, we have a goal and an objective, but I feel this way about the first step. For me, I just erase the emotions and just go through them. For my wife, it's like, okay, well, let me approach it with a little bit more empathy and say, okay, what is making you feel this way about this first step? And now that I'm thinking about it, you ladies are really smart. My wife, you guys, I see what God did. But so the point is, ask your wife, number one, ask your wife what's something that's going to make her feel great or something that she would enjoy doing thoroughly, right? And then number two, don't be shy to ask that question because of the response that you think you might get, because you might be surprised either way. So with that, never stop pursuing your spouse. This is David McDonald. Thank you for joining me for another episode on Follow Peace, and I'll see you guys here soon. Love you guys.